an easy-to-use music notation program designed specifically for music students that requires no downloads, no sign-ins, and is available completely for free? Do I have your attention yet? My name is Matt from MatthewGronsky.com. Thank you so much for watching. In case you've never heard of me, I'm the creator of 3-Minute Theory, and feel free to click any of the links below in the description to check out 3minutetheory.com. But what I want to show you is one of our latest developments to 3-Minute Theory that actually was spurred on by one of our 3-Minute Theory teachers. So shout out to Chris, one of our 3-Minute Theory teachers, who emailed us a couple weeks ago, and he was looking for a specific feature from our Melody Maker. And this is our brand new Melody Maker update, which you see in front of you. And what Chris was looking for was a way to basically enhance the incorporation of our Melody Maker with our music creation volume. And if you've never heard of 3-Minute Theory, again, it's a video-based music education curriculum, and we have a lot of different games and apps that go alongside this video-based music education curriculum. And Chris was looking for a way to plug in our template for music notation for composing with his students, and he wanted it to work more easily with our Melody Maker. And so that's exactly what we did, but we took it to the next level, because when we first created Melody Maker, our question was, what if there was a music notation platform that was created specifically for music students? Now, most music notation softwares, whether it's Finale, Sibelius, MuseScore, Flat.io, all of these are really, they're engineered for your typical musician. They're more for your music teacher than for your music student. And that's where Melody Maker comes in. Now, Melody Maker, if you look at it, it looks more like a game more than a serious bit of software. And everything that we could label to clearly educate our students is labeled here. You see everything from the beats that a note receives to the names of the notes, to all of our tools, time signatures, key signatures, metronomes. Everything is clearly explained to students. And there's even a special learn mode, which I'll show you in a second, which even takes it to a whole other level. But basically the way that it works is you can select any note, and I can take my cursor here and I can hover over any specific area that I want to. So I have a couple notes here, and let's say if I wanted to bring this back up to an E, so I click and enter, and wherever I hover with my mouse, I can enter those notes, and I can obviously easily play back. So I'm going to play this back. Okay, so I have that little one measure melody. I have the measure numbers that are labeled here. You could do everything from composing melodies to adding lyrics to there's so much you can do here. You can even add different measures here. You can one of the things that we added in our recent update is you can even change the type of playback that you see here. So we have a normal playback, which it'll play back just the way that you saw. Or if you have, maybe your class is sight reading or something, you can have this scroll to playback. So watch, now when I click play, watch. And basically, as I fill in those notes, it will scroll all the way across from left to right. This way, your students don't need to jump to the next line in the playback. But I'm going to put back to normal here, and you can see we have basically it's designed to take up 4 measures per line. But there's so many cool educational things that you can do here. But before I get to all those different features, I want to get back to Chris, one of our 3-Minute Theory teachers, and he was looking for a way to incorporate our music creation volume from 3-Minute Theory with our Melody Maker, and that's exactly what we did. And the cool thing is it's available for you right now to try out through the end of January 2026. Now, our music creation volume, I love to use towards the middle of the year, like after our winter concerts or after our spring concerts, and I love to use it to facilitate basically group melody creation projects with my students, because it's such a great way for students to use the practical music literacy tools that we've been working on in class, using, following 3-Minute Theory and, following through our repertoire that we prepare for our concerts. So I want to show you how to do that. What we did, this is a one-click way to make this all possible. So let's say I just loaded everything. So let me clear this here. And if you notice over here, it says Load Melody Project Template. If you click this button, okay, if you click it here, this is instantly going to load our Melody Project Template, which is 16 measures, And I'm going to walk you through what I'm going to be doing with my own students. Not only that, but it also includes the instructions. If you see up here, these instructions, which are, they include tips for how to do this melody project that students can easily follow. And this is all easily shared with your students. So you can have your students go to this specific URL. I'll include the link in the description below, but it's 3minutetheory.com/melody, and you'll see this app here. Your students can access it. And again, it's going to be completely for free for everyone, including non 3-Minute Theory teachers, through the end of January 2026. So take advantage of this. Try this new tool out while we have this up for free on 3minutetheory.com. And it's so much fun. So just to explain the history of this is a part of our music creation volume, where it's 10 different video chapters that guide students through how they can create their own melody. It teaches them the basics of music composition. And now we have this template, which we used to encourage our 3-Minute Theory teachers to use, other music notation platforms. But if I can be honest, in my own experience, I used to use flat.io with my own music students, and that was kind of a headache because they needed to sign in and log in, and then certain issues with student data privacy became a headache because they had to line in and they had to make an account. And then I was realizing that my students were, some of my students were too young for certain legal things with sign-ins and using Google sign-ins and all this stuff. And it got to be such a big headache. I just stopped using that, and I went to basically I would have my students do a paper version of this melody project, which is available actually on MatthewGronsky.com. Feel free to check that out also. But now with this new development, all of my students who are one-to-one with Chromebooks, I'm looking forward to using this Melody Maker with them to create this super cool melody project. And the way that the melody project works is, and you know what, let's open up the instructions so we can see it together. So you have 3 steps here, very basic. You're gonna create the melody, write a 16 measure melody. In each measure, use mostly the 3 recommended notes shown above that measure. Make sure every measure has exactly 4 beats, and the notes in the bass clef are bass notes designed to make your melody sound great. So if you notice, through these different 16 measures, there's a single bass note in the bass clef, but students are going to be creating their melody above. And what it's teaching them to do is to add specific notes that work in harmony with the bass function. Now, they don't need to understand this. All that they need to know is, okay, for the first measure, and let's zoom in here a little bit, right? So if I was demonstrating to this class, I love that I can just easily zoom in here. If you've ever used other music notation softwares, you would think that's easy, but it's not. But what I can do here is I can choose, okay, C, E, or G. But with my chorus students, I really focus on solfege. So they're gonna see, okay, do, mi, or sol, and they're gonna see that hopefully we don't have any sharps or flats, so they know that C is do. And so I can click here, and I'm gonna try and follow any one of these recommended solfege. So I want to use do, mi, or sol mostly were the instructions there. So I'm actually going to include a passing tone here, which I'll have re, and then I'll go up to mi, and then sol over here. Okay, so I have my first measure written in, and then I'm going to go into the next measure. And as you can tell, I have different recommended solfege. In case you're wondering, yes, those solfege correspond to a G major chord here, so sol, ti, or re. And I'm going to change the rhythm here, and I'll add some eighth notes here, so sol. And you know what, maybe next I'll have another passing tone or 2 here, sol, fa. And you know what, let's keep the eighth notes going here. Whoops, sol, fa. And then let's go with mi. Let's change the direction. So mi, fa, and then maybe we'll switch this to a half note here, mi, fa, sol, to really stay on those recommended notes. And I can, go back and listen to it. Now, when I play it back, I'm actually going to hear how it lines up with the bass notes here. So let's listen along. And I have a nice little 2-measure melody going on here. And as the bass notes change, it's obviously going to change the overall sound of the melody. But here's my goal with my students. So one, again, this is all, in case you just went to 3minutetheory.com/melody, if you click this load melody project template, that is instantly going to bring up this, this project template, which includes the instructions. But here's what I recommend, okay? Once you load this, and this is the magic of this setup, this is almost like a Google Doc minus all of the sign-in headache with it, because the way that you share this with your students is, yes, they can go to this URL, but they can save their own individual music notation sessions, if you want to call it, by simply using the save and load features that are built into Melody Maker. So if you look up here, if I wanted to, and I'll just, I'll save this now just so you see how this works. So if I click on this save button here, it's going to open this. Now that is the another way to load this template is you can just type in TEMP on the load project, and that's another way that you can load it, or you can just, again, click the load melody project template here. But if I wanted to save this current version, right, that I'm in the middle of working on, I can click save new version, and now it gives me this. This is my code, and students can use this code to share with other students who are maybe working on the same project, or the way that I'm going to design it is I'm going to have students submit this code. Once they're done with their melody project, they're going to submit that final code on a Google form and submit it as part of an assignment. And this way, I'm going to take that code, like the code that you just saw here, and I'm going to plug it into Melody Maker to show to the whole class. And then students are going to perform their melody and actually, yes, even sing it. And something that I always wanted to do was to really, again, take this to the next level. And we were focused on, what is the most educationally sound approach that you can bring to Melody Maker. And one of the things that we incorporated is this new learn mode. So I'm going to turn learn mode on. And you know what? Let's go back to zoom out here just so you can see this a little bit better. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a note to, maybe I'll add it to, yeah, let's say I'm continuing here and I'm still in a half note here. So I'm going to add a note here. Oh, notice as soon as I entered that note, and let me just add in another one here just so you kind of see it better because I moved and it went away. So let's say if I was going here, passing tone here, you see that it says 1 beat remaining. It is already showing students what exactly how many beats they have left, because that is pretty much the number one question that I get from my students whenever I've done this project is, Mr. G, like, how many beats do I have here? Or like, do I have enough beats or do I have too many? And this learn mode is a fantastic way to show them that. Not only that, but as they create, you'll see, I don't want to take up too much time in this video, but as they create this melody, it'll give them tips of basically advice when they go measure to measure of how to, create better sounding melodies and stuff, which is such a cool way to use this learn mode. Again, and you could shut it off here if you wanted to. You can hover over everything from like time signatures to key signatures, and it'll give you information about it. Super cool. So you have all of this stuff here. And again, what I recommend, and I was in the middle of saying this before, is that you take this project template and you update it to whatever you want. So, and don't feel bad like if you're editing this, because you're not going to change. The project template is always going to exist as you want, as it is currently right now. Whenever you click save, you're going to save over to create, like right now, if I click save, I can click save to create a new version. And as soon as I create that new version, that's the one that you can share with your own students. So what you can do is you can update these instructions, maybe even create your own custom project, which then you can easily share with your own students. This is such a cool way to get students easily creating music in a fun, educational way, in a way that, it eliminates some of the questions of going back and forth with a teacher and lets students learn as they create. Because honestly, that personally, for me as a musician, that is the best way that I have learned, has been learning as I create music, learning as I create these apps, learning as I create programs like 3 Minute Theory. I've learned so much as a musician, as a music teacher, and I think our students can learn a tremendous amount by using programs like this. So if all of this to say, if you haven't yet, go to 3minutetheory.com/melody. I'll include the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. And specifically, thank you so much to music teachers like Chris who have reached out and given us these little sparks of creativity that have really enhanced 3minutetheory.com. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy with your own students. God bless.